Once the foundations of a campervan are built right, this is where the quality really starts to show. Layouts get locked in, floors go down, and the van stops being an empty shell and starts becoming something else. If you get this stage wrong, it doesn't matter how nice the finish looks. Poor planning here leads to awkward spaces, wasted storage, and builds that never quite feel right. In this episode of Works in Progress, we're taking these vans from prep to progression, and we're also installing a roof rack and a Bravo snorkel to a front-wheel drive MAN TGE. This is Works in Progress, episode 14. Starting off in the VW Crafter, the boys are busy fitting the floor. We're installing a sandwich panel made from a double layer of ultra-lightweight poplar plywood with an XPS core. These panels have been pre-cut to the shape of the van, and we're sticking them down to the high points on the ribbed van floor. We're using polyurethane adhesive sealant because it's strong glue but remains flexible to allow the van to flex while driving without upsetting the bond. The seams have been lap jointed to allow us to glue them together, and we're using old van batteries as weights to avoid any lift while we wait for the adhesive to cure. With this now dry, we can start laying our luxury vinyl tiles. We start by marking a line down the centre of what will be our galley. This helps us keep our pattern straight as we progress down the van. These tiles are being laid in a herringbone pattern, and we're using a high temperature contact adhesive, good to about 120 degrees. We prep the pillars and remove, then refit any brackets after the lining. We're applying Alcantara to the pillars, which is an automotive suede. This fabric has a foam backing, helping it to feel softer to the touch than lining carpet and feels warmer beside the bed. It doesn't have a lot of stretch, but it can be manipulated around most shapes. Our side flares have been insulated and wired with an LED strip around the window, which is hidden by our interior trim. It's easiest to do all this before we fit the pods. Next, we wipe down the bonding surface with alcohol to remove any dust or contaminants before applying an even bead of polyurethane sealant. A good bond will be strong enough to secure these pods, but we like to add some M6 hardware as belt and braces. So, now that we've fitted the first phase of our lining, we've fitted the floor, and we've also partway through fitting our side pods. It's now moving onwards. We're now starting to fit our seating. So our second row seating is a bit unusual in this van. Usually we'd go for a double bench seat in here. This customer's asked for a single rear seat. There's just the two of them going to be travelling, and they just want to have the opportunity to sit opposite each other, and they're only going to need one seat for that. That's going to allow them to have a lot more space in the back here. To make the seat a wee bit more comfortable, we're fitting a rib Scopima swivel, so that you're going to be able to swivel the seat round. If one of you is standing cooking, you're not going to be stuck rigidly facing the front of the van. After that, I'm going to be spending a lot of time this coming week redesigning our overhead gantries. You'll notice on this van that it's got a fixed high roof, and that's something that we've not done before. Usually we fit either the pop-top roofs or no roof at all. With the pop-top roof, the interior ceiling is actually exactly the same as if it's not on there. The only difference is you have the hatch up here. With the fixed high top, it's a whole different ball game. So our existing overhead storage gantries are not going to fit in this at all. We'll do a bit of a redesign, a bit of a remeasure. I'm going to need to redesign the top cupboards. We're also going to have the shower unit and bathroom unit in here, and we're going to lose this section of metalwork up here, and I'm going to turn that into a bit of over storage over the top of the bathroom, so it's going to give them a lot more space up there. We might even put a storage unit on the back. I need to template that and take it to the customer and see if they're happy with it. Really happy with how this van's going. With the side pods on, we're going to be able to get the extra strengthening pillar moved forwards and fitted. That's then going to allow us to finish the rest of the ply lining on the side of the van as well, and start closing this area up, ready for the wood arriving and the furniture to be assembled. Moving on to the MAN TGE. The wheel tubs have been insulated and are now being lined. This is by far the hardest area of the van to line without creasing the fabric. We line the van in small sections at a time, leaving the panel work to be lined and fitted separately. This is going to make life much easier should you want to retrofit any electrics, plumbing, or even for carrying out bodywork repairs. If the whole side of the van is lined in one, you'd have to cut it to access the cavity. Johan's busy prepping to fit the windows. He's using a centre punch to mark the corners, then pilots and drills access holes for the jigsaw. We tape the perimeter of the cut line to avoid scratches from the bed of the saw. We've also taped any joints around the cut where the metal filings might get stuck. This is especially important on the rub strips and around any lights or handles. After cutting all 4 sides, the panel can be removed. We use a flap disc to clean up any sharp edges, then window primer to seal the raw metal. You have the option of glass windows or double glazed acrylic units. With glass, the window is shaped to take up the whole window indents. The downside is you'll experience a lot more condensation. With the acrylic units you see here, you can choose the size of window you want. They open safari style and it's easier to fit fly screens than blinds. Instead of the usual side flares, this van will be having a rear quarter window. Our client's chosen a longitudinal bed sleeping front to back, so it doesn't require the additional width offered from the pods. We've got vinylistics in wrapping our window indents in satin black. This is going to create a unity between our windows and our side flares. You're supposed to do this in a dust-free environment, so Johnny's got his work cut out for him here. In this MAN TGE, we have fitted the first phase of our lining. We've got our Alcantara on the pillar work there and on our wheel tub. You might notice that we've only done the one wheel tub in both these vans. It's because this wheel tub here will be inside a unit, you'll never see it, and so it's not actually going to add any benefit to it. So we're just leaving that one soundproofed and insulated instead of lined. We have fit the windows, we've fit the floor, we've fit the LVT. Now the LVT doesn't actually come from factory in a herringbone pattern ready for that, so we've had to cut it down to the correct ratio ourselves because that's what the customer wanted. We've got the window on this side, window on that side. We've still got the window to fit in the back there. That's been cut out and ready. The exciting thing happening this coming week on this van is we've got the pop top arriving. So that's going to get separated. The shell, the top shell and the front nose cone is going to go straight to the painters, and then the bottom part of the shell is going to get fitted straight onto the van. So that section there is going to be cut out. That's going to make way for our entrance hatch up into the roof. Then the shell is going to be bonded down with the brackets at the back, ready for the rest of the parts to arrive from the painter and get the roof on. That's going to completely transform this van. Something else different about this van as well is it arrived from factory with this shelf above the cab. It's not something that the client realised that he had ordered. It's not something he particularly wanted, but when it arrived with it, he's fine with it. So it's already soundproofed and lined. We're going to add some extra insulation to it, and then we're going to shelf this area and create an opening aperture here and just tidy it up so that they've got a little bit of additional storage and it's not going to end up as a wasted space. Next up, we've got a Sprinter. Now this is the first Sprinter we've built in a while, so we're working on our templates. Panelling the rear barn door panels, lower sides and the side loading door for an interior trim card. We like to fit a surface mount panel to allow the window blind and fly screen to be fitted within the depth of the door structure. It's a long process, but worth it for a perfect fitting panel. Once we've got this design nailed, we'll make a 9mm master copy which we can use to router out our final product in ABS. Instead of rear windows, we fabricate a storage pocket into the top half of the rear barn doors. Our panel is 4mm MDF, so we apply a few coats of sealer to the surface and allow it to dry to make it watertight before it's lined in fabric. We kit it out with lighting and a charge point, as this will be the panel beside the bed and offers you somewhere to store and charge your phone when you're asleep. Storage and convenience play a huge part in making your time in your van a much more enjoyable one. After testing the electrics, we use a heated prong to open the pre-drilled holes for our popper fixing. Drills can snag the material and cause damage, but the heat leaves a nice clean finish. It's time to get these windows cut out and the indents wrapped. The Sprinter and the Crafter are different vehicles, but the processes are largely the same. The Sprinter does have a bit more height to its window indent, which unlike the Crafter, means you can only get one side done from the width of a roll of wrap, which means it costs twice as much. This is a thick, durable 3M wrap, which allows you to cut the windows out before or after it's fitted without incurring any damage. So lots happening with this Sprinter as well. We've got the windows have been cut out, and meanwhile they've also been wrapped in the window indents on the outside, so they are now ready to be fitted. We've got the rear door cards on each of the barn doors have been made, tested, and they are now fitted, so they're all finished. Meanwhile, this panel here, that is being made next door as we speak and will be fitted tomorrow. Our floor has arrived, and so that's just about ready to go in. We've got our pop top arriving next week, so that'll be getting fitted at the same time as the one from the other van as well. So that's going to make a huge difference to this vehicle. We've also got the water tanks for underneath that have just arrived. So we've got a large spare wheel water tank which is going to go underneath the van at the back, and then a big grey water tank which is going to go underneath in the skirt. So yeah, big changes about to happen with this vehicle. Our Expedition roof racks are proving really popular. This one's being assembled and fitted today with a snorkel being added to complete the look. The rack can either be assembled on the roof or at floor level. We've assembled this one on the bench to be lifted onto the roof later. We fit an aluminium T-slot rail into the gutter lines, and as this van is empty, we'll nut and bolt these from the inside. Doing it this way is a two-person job, with one on the roof and the other inside fitting the nuts. If your van's already converted and access inside isn't possible, we can fit these rails with jack nuts from the top. The racks can be fitted before or after converting, because the crossbars are fitted into 8mm slots in the side rails, which allows them to be moved forward or back to give you space for mounting fixtures like skylights and extraction fans. The T-slot rails will now be bonded down with a polyurethane for strength and to provide a strong water seal. We run a zigzag beader sealant along the length of the rail, as well as a complete circle around each filled hole. This is a long wheelbase rack, and we're currently working on making it available for the medium wheelbase. It's cut from 5mm marine grade aluminium and built to last with durable black powder coat finish. All fixings are marine grade stainless steel and fitted with rubber washers to avoid corrosion. These racks are really versatile, as you can add as many crossbars as you like to suit your build. They all come with 8mm T-slot profiles, which allows you to easily fit your gear your way. If you have soundproofing or insulation already fitted, you should pull this back around the bolt holes to allow for a stronger fitting. With these racks being so long, we pre-assemble them in two halves, then join them with jointing plates before lifting. All the bolt ends are then fitted with ABS cap covers so they don't damage anything being loaded onto the rack. We've fitted the light bar and spots and coiled the cables ready for fitting onto the roof. We have the benefit of an electric hoist at the workshop, which allows us to easily lift the rack into place. The brackets are then attached to the rack and the hoist harness is removed, and Stu checks the position and adjusts it if it's needed. The rack is one of those mods that you don't realise you need until you've got it. Suddenly there's space for boards, boxes, muddy gear, and all the extras that usually end up getting left behind or crammed inside somewhere. It also changes the whole feel of the van. With the roof rack on, everything just feels more ready for adventure. You've got more options, less compromise, and a little bit more freedom when it comes to how you use this space. It's not the most glamorous upgrade, but it's one that quietly makes a big difference. Another solid step towards adventure mode, and one less excuse not to load it up and disappear for the weekend. With the wiring now routed into the van through a cable gland, all that's left is to wire up the switches inside and test the lighting rig. Stu's made up his fuses and relays in a temporary rig to tide our client over until his conversion's underway. So Expedition rack is on the roof now, it's looking absolutely great. And this rack, it's going to give him the versatility that he needs. He can carry as much gear as he wants. When he fits his camper, he's going to fit all of his skylights, aircon, everything like that underneath. And then he's going to be able to store everything on top. I know that he wants to put a lot of solar on there, and he's going to do that when he gets further down the build. It's got loads of different points of attachment. You've got little keyholes, you've got ratchet strap openings, and you've got an 8mm bead line that runs the whole way. So it's very easy to attach everything like traction boards, jerry cans, all that sort of stuff on the top there. Anytime you're going anywhere, you've got the option to take as much gear as you want. Next up, we're fitting a snorkel. These Bravo kits come with a cutting template, which we use to mark up our holes. Cam's removed the badges and he's using a 102mm hole saw to drill through into the engine bay. These edges will need filing and sealing, and we'll be doing the same for the holes made for the riv nuts. Now that the holes are made, the hard part's over. These kits are pretty straightforward to fit. People either love them or hate them, but this snorkel is going to complete the look of this build. We get a lot of comments about snorkels, whether they're needed and what's the point if it's not a four-wheel drive, but personally we love them. From a practical stance, they raise the air intake, allowing you to drive through deeper water than without it, and that doesn't need to be a proper river crossing either. In the UK we have a ton of rain, and with that comes flooding. This snorkel is going to put your mind at ease, especially after spending the amount of money and time building the dream van. And at the end of the day, if you just want it for the way it looks, is it any different to adding a spoiler or a body kit? So the snorkel's been fitted, it's on there, it's going to allow the customer to drive through deeper water than you would do normally. He's not going to be doing river crossings, but he'll be able to go through flood waters when other people have to turn back. The top piece here, the air inlet, you can face it forwards or back. There's a quick adjustment with a little Allen key on there and you can spin it around. Some people like it facing backwards, some people like it facing forwards. It's just a matter of preference. So yeah, looks good. Customer's about to get on the road and head back down to Devon. and we're really happy with the way it's turned out. So 3 different vehicles at very similar stages of the build, but an exciting time for these vans because it's all about to change for them. So if you want to follow the progress of these builds, don't forget to like, follow and subscribe. And thanks for watching.